Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happiness with PIRET. My name is PIRET, and I'm a happiness expert. In this podcast, we're talking about happiness with different people. And why you should be watching this podcast is because when you hear other people talk about happiness, you can also think about how is happiness, what is happiness in your life, and how you can create more of it in your life. In today's episode, I'm talking about Dawn. Dawn is a holistic healer, educator, and a children's book author. And we're going to talk about the energy of happiness and how you can have more of it in your life. So before we get started, hit that subscribe button and let's start with Dawn introducing herself. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Parette. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk to you today. As you mentioned, some of the stuff that I do, I help people release pain and connect a little more to their intuition and also to their higher self. And I do this by using my life coaching skills, teaching with energy work, and also massage therapy. And yes, I am a children's book author as well. And the book's focus is to bring more positivity and happiness to children.
And the name of the book is.
I actually have it right here. It's called Many Colors of Me. Let me get
Mhm.
it. There we go. Breathing in a Rainbow of Feelings.
Yeah, I love that book, and my daughter actually loves that book as well.
I'm so glad. So it's a guided meditation for kids using the colors of the rainbow and power words.
hmm What I like about it because it makes people kids to think about like their own emotions and understand them better.
Yes.
Same
Yes.
thing like I think the adults should be doing as well.
Absolutely. I definitely tell the parents that it's a good book for them too. So they should breathe right along with the kids and take in all of those positive power words too. It's starting to open kids up to the power of positive affirmation, which is one tool of helping bring more happiness into your life.
Yeah, and it starts from childhood because right now a lot of like the adults, the reason why they are feeling less happiness is because their childhood.
Yes,
And
absolutely. A lot of our core belief systems are formed in childhood. So it's very important for those of us with kids to really instill them with happiness, joy, peace, contentment, and the tools to get you there as kids, because then they're not going back like a lot of us are and having to reparent ourselves and reteach ourselves how to be happy, how to be joyful, what that even means. Part of why we're here, right? Um, and we have to relearn all of it instead of growing up with those values, because with relearning comes a lot of deconstructing of beliefs and thoughts too.
mhm. Let's start with the general question that I usually start all the guests with, and just what is happiness?
So I had to think about that a little, like, how do you define it? You can feel it, right? You know what it feels like, and then I'm like, okay, well, when you feel it, you feel good, right? And maybe you're smiling or laughing. Um, you feel joyful, you feel peaceful, you feel content. So I would say that's a good definition. But the feeling comes first. When you think of happy, you kind of think of um, smiling.
hmm And that's what I teach a lot of us, from physical side of the happiness, just to like make yourself happy in that moment, and just generally like if you smile, that makes your brain to think like something's good is happening, and you're like automatically gives you and people around you that feeling. Just a
Yes.
simple smile, just that physical part of like smile creates happiness.
Yeah, and just saying it like that, it makes me think about, we talk about muscle memory and how when you do something repeatedly so much, it elicits a feeling or a memory or how to do what you're doing. So that smile does exactly that. It brings the feeling into your body. So when you put the smile on your face, then maybe you start thinking about what things make you smile. And
Mm-hmm.
then the more you start thinking and then you think, oh, that made me happy. That made me smile. The more you smile, the more you start feeling that happy feeling.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting when somebody else smiles at us,
Yeah.
like it like automatically your face gets the reflection of like your mirror mirror, what are the mirror, um
The mirror image, the mirror reflection
mirror,
back.
yeah. So it's just like automatically you smile back,
Yes,
and
definitely.
you get the feeling as well. So, how important is happiness for you specifically?
So, I have to say a few years back, and I'm just grabbing my phone because I have a quote here that I want to read.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we especially as girls, I feel like we get taught our whole life from childhood with Cinderella and all these, Disney movies and stuff, happily ever after. So we grow up with this fanciful thought that at some point when I get XYZ or when I do this, then I'll just be happy. Then I'll be happy. And the goal is happy. And then we grow up and we're like, what the heck? Where's all this happiness? Where's the happily ever after I was promised? Like, I got the husband, I got all the things. Like, where's that happily ever after? And I start to realize that happiness isn't necessarily a realistic goal or expectation to have all the time. Happiness is great. And when we have it, enjoy it, take it all in, appreciate it. Um, but I started to shift my goal of what I want a little bit to peace. And this is actually a sign that's been hanging up at my work for the last 6 or 7 years, and it says peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. And I thought, that's a bit more realistic of a life goal than to be happy. Of course I want to be happy, but life isn't always happy. So my importance, happiness, how important it is to me, it's important to embrace it and appreciate it and be present in the moment when I have it, but I feel like peace is more my life goal now.
Hmm. So peaceful. But how do you use it with the clients? Like in energy, like when you work with energy, is like how does that happiness or peace come through the energy work? What you are doing or what people had there around themselves all the time, anyways. Like.
So, usually in my work, and I think that this is probably another part of the definition of happy, is the removal of worry or the removal of pain or the removal of anxiety or the removal of fear. So, a lot of work that I do with clients, when they walk in, their intention for the session is to release one of those negative feelings. And then we want to replace that and bring in a positive feeling. So sometimes they want to replace fear or anxiousness with peace or with happiness. So we're usually trying to release one thing and then bring in the positive to replace it with. So happiness is definitely one of the choices. And usually when they get off the table, I say, how do you feel? And they'll say, I feel happy. I feel peaceful. I feel lighter. Um, so we're coming back to that yin and yang and to that balance in life of, yes, we got to deal with the darkness and the negative. But when we do that and we face it, then the happiness comes in.
But
Then
how,
that peace comes in.
mhm. But how does it work then with the energy level? Like how is the energy changing from that? previous type of energy towards the new energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it having the work in session helps to raise the vibration. So the vibration is like the energy that we all carry and we go out. So if you're watching something sad or you get into an argument, your vibration is going to be very low. When you get happy and you throw on your favorite song, you're raising your vibration with that happiness and that joy. Smiling is raising that vibration of your energy. um, does that does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it
Yeah.
makes sense. But so that is there, does vibration has like a chemical, like something with the chemicals in us in our body as well related, or is the energy and chemicals separated or they connected
um,
in your opinion?
yes and no. Yes and no. So we have our endocrine system in our body, and that's where all those chemicals go through. Um, so there are the happy chemicals, the serotonin, the dopamine, and those type of chemicals that happen in our body when we get our endorphins going. Um, and our vibration, yeah, it is affected by that too. But the vibration is like our energetic pulse, like our energetic heartbeat, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense this way. Okay, so let's go to this my list that I ask also, like it's part of the questionnaire, with
Sure.
all the items and things like that, because people have to know what is like happiness for them specifically, and everybody should ask themselves these questions,
Mm.
and I want to ask them from you.
Sure.
So name three items that make you feel happy.
Let's see. A good blanket, a cup of coffee, um, and my journal.
Oh wow, is your journal, like a gratefulness journal, or is it just daily journal?
Right now, just to be better about being in the habit of at least writing a little bit, I do just a little daily journal. It's actually my little planner. So I have just some space that I write down what we do each day, but there is room to write down what we're grateful for each day.
Hmm. Okay, so three activities that make you feel happy.
Snuggling up with my son, getting together with good friends and family that you can just laugh and talk and hang out, and my work. I'm really lucky and very fortunate that I can say that my work makes me happy, but I can be in any type of mood. And when I go to work and I get into that space with my clients, I always feel better afterward.
Hmm. That is important as
It
well.
really is. I'm
Yeah.
very lucky that I can say that.
Hmm. You did for a while ago, before I like first met you. You were doing you were working for some kind of company that do sleep studies.
I did. Yes.
So
Hmm.
is that, was that somehow, how did that became you, how did you go from doing that towards like energy healing? Was that kind of like, was that made you think about it?
It did. So I started doing sleep studies a long time ago. Let's see. Gosh, in 2002, I started doing sleep studies. And coincidentally, around 2003 was when I started doing energy work, um,
Mhm.
or somewhere thereabouts, right around the same time. And I initially started finding energy work classes to learn how to do this to help heal myself. Um, so while I was working, back then I was doing what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to go get a 40-hour a week job and, with all the benefits and all the things. So I did that. And doing sleep studies did bring me some joy for a while until it didn't. I loved working with patients. I loved to help them feel better. I worked with children. I worked with adults. And I felt that I was doing something to help them, but it got exhausting. It got challenging working in a hospital with, dealing with insurance companies and the difficulties that have happened with the healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I got pregnant and I had my son, and I realized that I don't want to work nights anymore, and that healthcare was changing so much that it just wasn't working for me anymore. So I wanted to pursue my passion and help people in a different way. And then when my son was 4 months old, I went back to school for massage to add one more piece. I had already done the energy work courses, many of them over the years, and life coaching courses as well. And then I added the massage piece to kind of tie it all together and give me one more tool that people were a little more familiar with to offer.
Mm-hmm. But if you go that back to like the energy, so how is with the energy for people by themselves? How can they do some kind of energy work on their own? Is there any tools that people you can use on their own for their energy work?
Absolutely. There are many ways that you can do some energy work on your own, whether that's finding the right tools, books, courses to do some work by yourself, but just a couple of simple tricks of
Yeah,
doing
let's
energy work
let's
for
let's
yourself.
give the viewers some simple tips right now for like
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. So, number one, we kind of mentioned a little bit. Never underestimate the power of music. Putting on your favorite song, putting on your favorite playlist so that you have several songs that really bring you up. I would invite everyone to, if you don't have one already, create your happy playlist
I have
and put
one.
on.
I
Do
have
you? Yeah,
actually several.
yeah, right. So
Mhm.
you know the list for the mood that you want to feel. So what kind of happy do you need? Do you need energy happy? Do you need peaceful happy? Put a couple different music playlists together with, say, minimum 20 minutes of songs that you can just put on and really get yourself amped up, and just get into that place of happiness.
Mhm.
Another really great tool we sort of mentioned too is having that happiness um, journal or gratitude journal. So being grateful and saying out loud or writing down 5 things a day that you're grateful for. It can simply be, if you're just having one of those days, I opened my eyes today. I
Mhm.
put my feet on the ground today. Even if that's it, just recognizing that you can come up with 5 things a day to be grateful for. Because again, when you think about those things that are good in your life, that's raising your vibration. That's getting you towards that happiness level. Um, and breathing.
Hmm.
When you're having a tough time, simply taking 3 good deep breaths. If you can close your eyes when you do it, and either if you're feeling a little anxious and your chest feels a little tight or you feel it down, in your belly, if you can close your eyes for a moment, put your hands on one of those spaces and just just that is going to shift your energy.
Mhm.
So how's that?
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Some
good.
tools.
Mhm. And see, and those are the thing. Like some things are so simple,
So
and people
simple.
have to take like time to do it. There's like, oh, I'm too tired, or like I don't feel like doing it. But like that's how you keep on staying in that not happy state because you're not doing anything to change it. Because that's
Right.
one thing as well. When I'm teaching, I learned I'm not. trying to go after clients as much the ones that they say they want to be happy, but at the same time they don't want to do anything about it. You know,
Right. So
I'm,
this is
I'm not.
something
Yeah.
you can just say, listen, this
Mhm.
will take you 3 minutes or less. You can
Mhm.
put on one song that's a joyful, happy song that's 3 minutes long. You can
Mhm.
make time for 3 minutes. You can make time for three deep breaths. You can
Mhm.
make time to take 3 minutes to write down or say out loud or say out loud in the mirror 5 things that you're grateful for today.
Mhm.
You can make 3 minutes of time in your day.
Yeah.
You can steal that one for your clients too.
Mhm. And like that's the thing. Like I'm not looking for now like the people who actually I think that they need it because I might see that they need it and there's simple tools to fix and make them feel more happy. I want people who actually want it,
Yes.
because the people who need it, they're not doing anything to achieve it. And people who want it, they actually want to like do the
Yeah.
actions and they will do what you tell them to do.
That's right. And we cannot make anyone do something until they're ready. As much as we see that they need something, until they have the desire for it for themselves, there's nothing that we can do to change besides keep showing them, walk the walk, talk to the talk,
Hmm.
show them the tools, plant the seeds. But until they come and say, I'm ready for this, and
Hmm.
it's scary. It sounds really silly, but happiness is scary for some people, especially when they're not used to it.
Hmm.
It's a big change. It's a big change for some people, and we forget that because it sounds silly. Who doesn't want to be happy? Doesn't everyone want to be happy? But different life experiences make that challenging for some people.
Hmm. I know a lot of like people and a lot of like actually that made me think of it. Like there was even some beliefs in some cultures that if some like like if everything's going good, then they get scared that something bad will happen. You know,
Yes.
they hold themselves back of feeling that good because they fear of something bad will happen and will take that good feeling away.
Hmm. Hmm. And some of that is why I kind of switched my goal from happiness to peace because we're human, we live on earth. Bad stuff is going to happen. It's
Yeah,
it's
every day.
unavoidable. It's unavoidable. It's going to happen. So it's again just really trying to find the peace in those bad moments and really embrace and live in the moment of those joyful happy times when we have them.
Hmm. Okay, so three people that make you happy.
Hard to pick. I had to really think about that one. My son, of course,
Hmm.
my husband, and my massage therapist.
Oh wow, that's different.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense, though.
Well, my family's too big. I couldn't choose between them because then whoever's watching would be like, "Why didn't you say me?"
Yeah,
So,
but massage actually is. I always think about massage. It's such a big makes such a big physical difference in our life.
yes,
To get a massage, it does make people happier.
absolutely. And for what I do, I mean, when I started my own business, it's coming up to 2 years now. I made a promise to myself that when I started to work more that I have to practice what I preach. I have to take care of my body. I can't go into work every day and tell multiple people a week, make sure you rebook, come see me, every month or as often as you need, and not do it for myself.
Hmm.
So I committed, no, this is non negotiable. This is something that I have to do. This is not a luxury item. This is body maintenance for me. And I really do need it. And I stick to that. Every single time I leave, I book my next appointment for 4 weeks.
Hmm. So why is it that massage helps our body like that?
So you're releasing the physical tension in the muscles, which if you haven't noticed, we tend to hold our stress in our body. So
Yeah.
it when we're stressed out, we're tense. Maybe we get, our shoulders are up here and every single muscle is engaged and maybe you're not breathing. So when you go in and you work the muscles, you're releasing the tension throughout the entire body. And that's going to bring on those good chemicals that we talked about earlier, and helping us to just relax and feel really, really good. I have a lot of people that walk in the door and they say, "This is my happy place." And they lay down on the warm table and they say, the second I just hit this table, all my stress just goes away. So
Mhm.
now, again, muscle memory, their body is so used to coming in and that being their happy place, their
Mhm.
peaceful place, that place that they can totally just let go for a little while. And it's all about them. It's really just so powerful. And that's before I even touch them.
Mhm. Yeah, so the brain probably already starts like the thinking of like the moment the brain understands like, oh, it's almost time for my massage. It's already starting producing all this energy, and like we're already starting to get into that moment when we're gonna have the massage, and like afterwards it's gonna be all relaxed. So it's a few hours, not just like the few like the time that you're on a table, but it's a few hours before and after as well that you're gonna have that feeling.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Okay, so do you have three causes that make you feel happy? Something
And do you mean causes
like something that you do for community or some community causes, or it's just family or something that you do outside of yourself.
yeah, so there's actually a really great nonprofit center near me up in Massachusetts, in Marshfield, called the Ferry Hill Center. Actually, they may have just changed their name to the JPH at Ferry Hill. And they are a community wellness center, and they offer a lot of really awesome support, and a lot of it's for free, for different groups in the community. So just recently, a couple weeks ago, I went and was a guest speaker at an anxiety support circle. So they offer anxiety support, they offer support for mothers, they offer support and circles for people in sobriety, they offer women's circles, they offer day retreats, and yoga. So they're really just trying to help the community find tools like this to feel better. And they're offering a lot of their services for free because, time's tough right now for everyone. So
Yeah.
it's great to have somewhere, for anyone. Anyone can go, everyone's welcome. Um, and
We
it's
need
it's very much
community
needed.
centers, like we need community and
Yeah,
community centers, things like that are important. But
yeah.
what I was thinking of that was, how about anxiety? Anxiety has become such a big problem for everybody. So is that energy, or is that something, is that body or mind, more or both?
Both. It's absolutely both. I think the mind gets it going, but it definitely causes a very visceral response in the body. So, this was one of the things that I brought up at the anxiety talk. And I sort of just kind of asked everyone there, what does anxiety feel like for you? Like, where does it live in your body? What does it feel like? And the basic theme was that we're overworked, overstimulated, over worried. We just have all this extra, extra, extra. I mean, I love social media. I love that we can be in two different states right now and do something like this. But at the same
Mhm.
time, I don't think our human brains were made to take in so much information that we have access to all the time. So, 20, 30 years ago, we would know what we saw on the news and the channels, 10, 20, whatever channels that we had of TV. We had our newspapers, the radio. and just the people that live near us that we talk to,
Yeah.
unless we got on a plane or so we wouldn't know all the things that were happening everywhere all the time. We wouldn't know so much violence is happening. Of course, we hear about some on the news and stuff, but we just we're taking in so much, and it's overwhelming, and then that gets you anxious. So I think that just information overload has a big piece of anxiety, and we've been through a lot. Everybody on this earth the past couple of years. I think 2020 has done a number on all of us with respect to anxiety, and
Hmm.
we're still
For
trying to
sure.
come out of that. I don't even know if the full healing has really even begun.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to like, and some people are like, I think some people are still in there. They have
Yeah.
not even like moved away from 2020. They're
Yeah.
still experiencing all that fear and everything. And some people just like recovering in their own ways.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still some healing to get done with done. Okay, so let's go back to the questions. And how do you express your happiness?
um, Smiling, smiling, laughing, dancing, hugging.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to ask this one. I asking that for from the guests, like how in your perspective is money and happiness related?
Hmm. So, money is energy. Money is an exchange of energy. It's a tool that we use to exchange for goods or value, right? Um, and I hate to say it, we all need it. We
Hmm.
do. We all
Hmm.
need money. So, how is money and happiness connected? We need to have our basic needs met
Yes.
in order to be happy. If we do not have our basic needs met, we're fearful of our survival.
Hmm.
So, money does help us have happiness because I don't want, I don't need a yacht. I don't need a mansion. I don't even want any of those things. When you're a kid, you think about, oh, when I'm rich, I want the mansion and the fancy car. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, give me a house in the woods away from everyone. But at the end of the day, basic needs being met.
Yeah.
I having enough money to pay all of my bills, having enough money to go to the grocery store and not have to count pennies to see what kind of food I can buy, having enough money to have my monthly massage, having
Hmm.
enough money to bring my child and myself and my husband to the doctor if we need to go to the doctor, and not worrying about a $2,000 deductible, those kind of things, having a reliable car to get to work, having the ability to take a modest vacation once or twice a year. I mean, it's so yes, we need money for
Hmm.
all of everything that I just said. And I don't think that, I mean, everyone should be able to have that.
Yeah.
And if everyone had that, even most people right now would want food on their table, their bills paid, their lights on,
Hmm.
and the vehicle to get to and from work. And I think we'd have a whole lot more happiness in the world.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
really true. I like how you put it that we will have so much more happiness in the world. Another way I'm talking about like money and happiness as well. It's like because even the people who are like happy by their nature, another way to say it, they need money too.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
people who are like happy all the time, doesn't matter what it is, like happiness and all the thing, even they need money. You know,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
like basic survival right now, we do need money. So and
Mhm.
like you said, there would be if money would be properly used, it will create more happy, like just basic happiness for people.
Mm.
So
And that being said, I've traveled to some very poor places in the world where I've seen people that lived in huts with no running water, no electricity. And I will tell you, they were some of the happiest people I have ever met in my entire life. And they, to me, living in America, they had nothing and they were so happy. So, so very happy. What they had was each other. What they
Mm-hmm.
had was the life that they knew. So that really was a big shift in perspective for me too. That we live here in this culture and we see what, you know, is housing and what counts for happiness and money and what counts for rich
Mm-hmm.
and poor. And then you go somewhere else and you just have that whole perspective
Mm-hmm.
totally shaken.
I think what that comes to as well, because here you had to, like, we always constantly see these images of like more and more, and we're advertised more and more, but for them they don't see it, so that doesn't bother them.
Right.
You
It's
know, it
not
doesn't
even on
bother
the
them.
radar.
Like my life, I have food, I have everything that I need, so it doesn't bother me that I don't have something that I don't even know that exists.
Yeah.
You know, so they can
Hmm.
be more peaceful because they had their necessities, and they just
Hmm.
like use the time to have good time.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, like they do the things that they need to be doing, like finding food or like whatever things they have to do, and like there's a time they might trying different ways to just like be and enjoy that moment.
Yep.
So that's true as well. uh, how about love and money?
Love and money.
Love and money, what is the connection between the feeling of love and kind of feeling of happiness? No, not love and money, love and happiness.
Love and happiness. I think feeling loved absolutely makes people feel happy. And I think that self love is probably the most important one that a lot of us need to relearn that because, you know, most of the time we're told since we're a kid, be selfless. If you are about yourself, then you're selfish, and that's a negative word. And you know, everything is about everyone else. And you know, yes, giving is joyful and all of that stuff, but we have to love ourselves. We deserve to love ourselves. It's healthy to love ourselves. So I think that self love brings us to a whole other level of happiness when we can love ourselves. It just really brings a very powerful contentment into your life. And then, of course, you know, we're community people, we're pack people, we're herd people. You know, we're supposed to be in community. We need others. We're not meant to be all on our own. So, of course, feeling love, whether that's, you know, a passionate love with your partner, or whether that's friendship love or family love, you know, the love from your child, the love to your parent, all of that is so deeply special and important, and absolutely brings happiness.
Hmm. But since in this episode I was thinking like focus like a lot of it because you do energy work, so is love energy as well?
Absolutely. And love is a very high vibration as well. I would probably, love is a higher vibration than happy because at the core, that's our essence. Our essence is love. So when I do energy work with people, I always close the session in love, health, and peace.
Hmm.
And again, it's not in a,
Love, health, and peace.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So,
Because guess I'm thinking like the love and health, how is this connected in that level as well?
hmm,
How is love and health connected?
love and health. I think that goes back to the self love. When we love ourselves, when we love our body, we're sending it good messages instead of, especially in this society, and especially as women, and especially as aging women, we're taught to
Mhm.
not love ourselves. And when we're sitting here with the internal monologue all the time of, oh my God, I hate my body. I hate my gray hair. I hate these wrinkles. I hate these glasses. Oh, I hate the this. I hate the that. We're not going to be healthy in our body because we're sending messages to our body that we don't love it. We don't like it. Instead of, I love my body. I love that I get to get older. I love that I can
Mhm.
age and that I have these gray hairs because that shows that I've lived life. I love every wrinkle on my forehead because I've earned them. I
Mhm.
love every inch of my fat, my skinny, my stretch marks, my whatever. That you're sending the message to your body that your body is safe. And when your body feels safe, you're going to balance all those chemicals. You're not causing that anxiousness. You're not causing that adrenaline. And when we're in a more peaceful place, which we become by loving ourselves, then our body is able to heal easier.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very true. And like with the self love and oh, not with the self love, made me think about all those perceptions of like the gray hair and aging. The way I see it, it's just like the manufacturers of those products like hair dyes and cosmetics and all this. This is just their way to sell, saying
Yeah,
there's something wrong with it, while there's nothing wrong with the gray hair. It's beautiful. Gray hair is beautiful, but it became a problem because they started to say advertising as it's like something that you have to hide. And
right.
why they advertise it? They didn't advertise because you actually have to hide it, or they didn't advertise it because there's something wrong with it. They advertise it because they want to sell the product.
That's right. Yep.
You know, they need to sell the product. They want you to buy it. It's like, okay, you have gray hair. Now you have to buy our product.
Right.
It's nothing to do with this. Like gray hair is good, bad. Does it look good? Or it's like you just need it because we want you to buy the product. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's when it got like people started thinking about it because there's a lot of cultures that gray hair is accepted the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
um I've been living in here for so long time, so I don't know which countries are the ones who don't behave like that, but I know in America it's like gray hair is considered like getting older, but it's it's normal.
Right.
But it's not even getting older, but it's still like the reason there's no reason to hide it beside of that hair dye company trying to sell you a product.
Right. Yep.
You
Yep.
know, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of cultural pressure to be young because of all of these companies trying to sell all these
Mhm.
products.
Yeah, they're trying to sell you the product, and that's why they tell you like they don't tell that there is not there isn't really anything wrong, but they want you to buy, so they will tell you something wrong so you would buy.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you what kind of like we answered this question already like with our conversation a few times, but why do you think people are not happy?
So, yeah, we did kind of cover this, didn't we?
But
I think the biggest thing again with people is why they're not happy is a lack of basic necessities, um, and worrying over things that we have no control over.
mm, that's a good thing. That's a good to point out. That's one
Yeah.
we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we put all of these expectations on outcomes of situations, and again, we're exposed to so much that's happening in the world, and we have to come back and focus on what we do have control over, what we can change. We can change our emotion in the moment. We can change our reaction to how we react to other things. We can shift some of that stuff, and that's really what we need to focus on. And also, being in the present moment. So when we're worrying, we're in the future, right? We're worrying about, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if the other thing happens? And we always tend to go to the negative versus, well, what if it turns out good?
Mm-hmm.
What if it is good? And same thing when we look back, we're usually looking back on, I regret this, I regret that, I wish I did this different, I wish I did that different. We can't change that. We can't go
Mm-hmm.
back. We don't have a time machine yet anyways. Like we can't change any of that. So it's, we can look back and try and find the lessons that we learned from the bad, and we can look back and take the good, happy memories. But really, we can only do anything about what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's with the like saying about the past, and so and the future as well. Like we with the past, we never not gonna know if anything would have been different. You
Right.
know, somehow like in our brain we think like, oh, if I would have done that, things would have been so much better, or I would still be doing that. Like, and we don't know that.
Right. Because
There's
that
no
could have
way
brought
to
us
do
down a
that.
totally other path that might
Yeah,
not have been good either.
yeah, it could have been worse.
Right.
Completely different worse. So it's like we just have to like instead of keep on going back thinking like, oh, we should have done something differently. We're never gonna be able to do something differently in the past. Only time we can do something differently is now.
Right.
You know, that's the
Yep.
only time we can do change, make a change. So instead of thinking like, oh, I should have done that. It's like, what should I do now?
Right. Exactly.
And maybe in that point you think about like what like to learn from the past and like what should have I done in the past, but now you take that what should have I and it's like, but what can I do now?
Right.
Because you can't change the past.
Right. Or how can I do things differently next time?
Yeah, that's true. And let's have this question. Why do you think people want to be happy? Why is this conversation about like people trying to like talk about happiness and they say that they want to be happy and people say everybody wants to be happy?
um, I think the most simple answer is because it feels good. It feels good to be happy.
That's true.
And also, I'll go back again to growing up on Disney. We're kind of spoon fed that happiness is supposed to be the goal of life. And if you get X, Y, Z, then you'll be happy. So we're kind of getting, the story of what things make us happy, what things do we check off the list that then equal happiness. And that's kind of getting to the place of what is happiness for you.
Hmm.
Not your happiness might look very different than my happiness. Of course, again, we all want those core basic needs to be met. But outside of that, everyone has to define it for themselves.
Hmm. And that's what I want to like teach with this podcast to how like different people talk about happiness so people can see that happiness is different for each person, you know? And it's
Yeah,
like you have to find what is happiness for you and what things make you happy. So this way you can have more happiness in your life if you know what it is that makes you happy.
absolutely. And it doesn't all fit in one little small box.
Mm-mm. Doesn't. So, okay, let's go back to, I think it was, want to ask more about like the ways of creating happiness with money. Let's go a little bit back for that one.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask you, like, tell me a few ways where you have like paid for something or like paid something that made you feel happy.
Um,
Just simple, like,
for
yeah,
myself, for other people,
both.
Both.
Tell me each for one for each.
Okay. So for myself, and something that maybe I wouldn't always be able to justify spending the money on, is getting my own energy work sessions.
Hmm.
Um, and the person I go to is a little more on the expensive side, but she is absolutely worth every penny. And it always brings me a lot of happiness and joy. So I have committed to that, that I go to see her 4 times a year. And that's her schedule and my schedule, as much as that allows. And that's just something that helps me extend my happiness
Hmm.
because I have my session, and then it helps shift my energy and perspective for a while, so that it lasts. Um, and then buying something for someone else for happiness. I don't know. Every Christmas, I try and do this with my son too, so that he starts learning about, you know, giving happiness to someone else, and kind of the spirit of Kris Kringle or Santa Claus, of, giving without expecting anything in return, giving without expecting to have someone be able to thank you or return the favor. So we tend to get some toys that we donate, every year, to a couple different causes and charities around, so that we give with the intention of giving, and we'll never know who got the gift. We'll never get a thank you. And that doesn't matter. It's just the energy and the spirit of that giving. I don't usually go around telling everyone about that either, but it's something that really does, bring joy to my life, just knowing that that is out there spreading, and it doesn't matter, my role in it. It's not about me. It's about just putting that more happiness out there for somebody, another human being.
Hmm. But isn't that amazing about giving? Like you were just saying, like it's not about you, but at the same time, it creates joy in you, and it creates joy in somebody else. And that's like the magic, and like I would say, energy as well of giving. You create joy in both ways,
Yeah,
and that's amazing. Like you feel good about like the gift that you were able to give, and it makes somebody else feel good that they were able to get it.
absolutely.
Hmm. So
With no
that's like.
strings attached anywhere. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no, it's not an exchange. It's, you talk to your friends and say, I came and did something for you, and then you say, oh, I owe you one. It's like, no,
Oh
it's not
no,
about that. I
no,
appreciate
no.
that you feel that way, but it's not about that.
Yeah.
So gifting in this type of way, that there's not that with it.
Hmm.
Nobody feels an obligation or anything like that. And it's kind of like going back to the pay it forward concept. So
Hmm.
whoever received that because they were having a tough time at that point, when they get to a better place, they're going to pay it forward in some other way, right? So we just create this energetic thing going on, and that shifts the energy all around us.
Hmm. And that's like unconditional giving,
Yeah,
you know. And that's maybe why it started for like some of the people. Why they start to give anonymously, it was because they didn't want to have that burden on that other person, that like feeling like, oh, I owe you one.
yeah, yeah,
So that's maybe, but like same time, yeah, so both ways are okay, but it's just the person, you have to have the person feel that they don't owe you anything, because there are people who actually like try to give with the intention to get back,
yeah.
and that's what makes it sad for like, because that's not genuine giving,
Right, right.
you know. If you're expecting something back, then it's not genuine, because usually, but usually, like if you do it in genuine way, somehow or some way the energy around it works that you are getting something really awesome back.
Absolutely.
Sometimes somehow with a genuine giving, it works out that you're getting something really, really awesome back without that person even knowing,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know. Because I remember one of my birthdays, I woke up really, really early in the morning and I went and did some volunteer work where we were giving out like backpacks for like hundreds, like I think 700 people or something. It was some other
Wow.
company who were giving out the backpacks, but I helped them like hand them to the people, the kids, and I actually saw the kids and everything like that.
Hmm.
But it was my birthday and I had to like wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to drive one
Wow.
hour to that place. And but in that evening, I ended up having like through my friends really really nice party for myself. Like I was not
Mm.
even expecting anything like that. So I was
Hmm.
just like amazed on that day, like how it works, the energy works. That I did this in the morning without even knowing what's gonna happen in the evening, and I had like
Yeah.
such an awesome birthday with my friends in the evening, just receiving all that. Like it felt like I was just received it right back as well. It was just amazing feeling.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And it definitely works like that. I mean, I just believe that's another piece of the whole, saying 5 things a day, 3 things a day that you're grateful for because you're putting that energy out there and that's what you're going to attract.
mm-hmm,
So you put out the good energy, you give from the kindness of your heart with joy and oh my gosh, I can't imagine how joyful it was to look at those kids' faces being so happy. Like that's a gift in itself and then to go later and say, "Oh my gosh, this party all for me with all these people that care about you there." Like that's amazing.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's actually like real, like now, like I figured out, like actually we got like together with that energy and everything. If you put that happy energy out, you get that happy energy back.
Absolutely.
So that's how it works. You don't just have to like find and get happy energy in. When you put the happy energy out, it just comes back.
Yep.
That
Mhm.
is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the, like we're getting closer to the end as well, end of the show. And do you want to have like some end words about like how do you see the happy energy now, and like how do you what can the viewer do about like their energy or their happiness? What can they, we give them already three tools, but what is some like end thoughts on it?
So, I think kind of to wrap up everything that we've both talked about all this time is that, happiness isn't just in this little box with these XYZ stipulations of what it needs to be. Happiness is an inside job. Only you can create your own happiness in your life, and only you can define what happiness truly means for you. And there is no reason why you can't take 5 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day to shift your energy, raise your vibration, and get happy with any of the tools that we discussed or any of the other tools that you have already in your life. Every one of us can make time to try and find happiness or one reason to smile once a day.
Hmm. That's true. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here
All right.
for
Thank
our hour,
you.
and thank you for talking with me. And well, for the viewers, please share this video with your friends so they can create some happiness in their life as well, and they can learn about happiness energy, and subscribe so you can follow up with other episodes, their upcoming episodes. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.